This video is going to show you how to increase the distance you hit all your clubs using the HackMotion wrist sensor and understanding the wrist movements you need through impact. So in order for us to increase the clubhead speed and potential distance, we're going to need to understand the role of the wrists is very critical in that process. We can't swing fast without using the wrists. But of course the wrist can move in such an infinite number of ways. We can easily include more wrists into the swing, potentially swing faster but not turn that into more distance. So I'm going to talk you through some very specific drills that you can use to help you train better transfer of the club head speed that you create into the ball. If I was to start out by just saying that a golf swing with no wrists, or one that feels like it has zero wrists, would be very difficult to create much power. There's no leverage that I'm creating in the swing. That's a 7-iron I'm hitting there. The ball's only flown, it's carried less than 100 yards. I'm only able to swing at 58 miles per hour. So I need to include some wrist hinge. And one of the easiest ways for you to understand how important these wrists are through the swing and at impact would be to hit shots with your feet together. The closer your feet are together, the more you're relying on your arms and your wrists to start to deliver the power into the swing. And that's a swing there where I feel like I'm not using the ground very much. I'm just starting to utilize my wrists. I immediately carried that ball 112 yards and I was able to increase my club head speed towards 64. So just getting a sense that the club head swings past you during the swing is a good one for you to start to understand that transfer of speed from the club out to the ball. It's really important at this stage that we clarify one specific point here about impact. Most of you who are familiar with what you're trying to do at impact would understand that when you hit the ball, it's valuable to have more lead wrist flexion at impact than you had at setup. That's with every club in your bag if you want to maximize the efficiency of your strike and increase that ball speed and with it the potential distance. Having more flexion in the lead wrist at impact creates this desired shaft lean, helps us to hit down and gives us a number of positive things that we're looking for when we hit the ball. However, you could create forward shaft lean at impact, at the point of impact, in some different ways, and oftentimes this gets confused by players and students and it robs you of distance. Let me explain. If I was to use the avatar on the screen right now, I've got the HackMotion on my wrist. This is on my lead wrist obviously, and the flexion extension number, we're going to pay attention to that. Let's say at setup I have 16, 17, 18 degrees of extension. It's pretty consistent. The last shot I hit there at impact I had 8 degrees of flexion. So I'm going to move that towards flexion. There we go. So I've got more shaft lean at impact by virtue of having more flexion in my lead wrist. Now a lot of you interpret that to think that when you hit the ball you're supposed to lead your wrist like this for as long as you possibly can to try to maximize that lead wrist flexion, with it being a desirable place to be. The problem with that is if you swing in that fashion and hold on to those wrist angles for as long as possible through impact, you never transfer the energy out of your swing to the ball. You hold on to this forever, there's no speed. If you think about that for a second, if I was to swing back, hold these wrist angles and just swing this club past the ball, you can hear, or more appropriately, you can't hear with the club head, you can't hear any noise, you can't hear any swish, because I'm holding on to this for too long. So then, whilst there needs to be an understanding that there is more shaft lean at impact with all the clubs than there is at setup, and whilst it's worth recognizing there's more lead wrist flexion at impact than there was at setup, also understand that that lead wrist flexion that you see at impact is very rapidly becoming lead wrist extension. The shaft is moving past the lead arm after impact, and the sooner or the faster that's happening, the more club head speed you can throw into the ball. So you need drills, you need ideas on how to create that appropriate sequencing of loading the club, holding on to that for long enough, and then learning to let it go through impact. That's where you really learn to maximize the swing speed. And ultimately, as I've already mentioned, that's a sequencing issue. It's a sequencing discussion. And I'm going to share with you some fantastic drills to help you learn the proper sequence through impact. So that's my standard stock shot there. 82 miles per hour with club head speed, 164 yard carry with a 7-iron. It's pretty decent. That's how I would choose to play. That's a very standard wrist pattern for me. You can see on the screen there, I had more flexion at impact than I had at address. But if we take a look at the graph, and you just look at that yellow line on the graph, which is showing us the flexion extension number, I had a lot of flexion there at impact, but then very quickly that graph goes up, where this lead wrist is going from that flex condition very quickly into that extended condition. And that's the evidence, if you like, of that club head speed being thrown out appropriately to the ball at the correct time. What are some drills that you could do that could help you to improve that part of your swing? Better sequence and better delivery of that speed out to the golf ball. I've got 3 for you to try, all of which can progress from the very basic version here with just a stick, all the way up to hitting shots with the ball. We're going to use an iron, and we can even use a driver for these as well later on. If you don't have one of these alignment sticks, you can take your golf club and turn it upside down so you're holding the club head end with your hand, and the far end would be the grip of the golf club if you don't have a stick. But these sticks are great to help prove this point and demonstrate what you can do here. So what I'm looking for, I already alluded to this a little bit earlier when I did this feet together drill. I'm looking to get some speed at the bottom of the swing now. I'm looking to be able to move this stick through space and create a nice loud swoosh sound somewhere at the bottom here. Now this doesn't account for club face control, and you could theoretically increase the speed here without having any sort of say in what the club face is doing, meaning once you start to hit balls, these balls might go all over the place. But this exercise is useful in terms of starting to understand that wrist release, that movement through impact, and that ability to create speed at the right time. So if you're holding on to these wrist angles for too long, you won't hear much of a sound. And if you do hear a sound, you might hear it later happening over here after impact. I really want you to get a sense that that sound and that noise is really happening there right at the bottom of the swing. So that's a great little exercise you can do. If you have one of these, grab it out your golf bag, or as I said, turn your golf club upside down and start making swings where you try to create as much of that swoosh, that snapping sound and that whooshing through the air. Make that noise happen as much as you can at the point of impact. Quick question for you. Did you know that 80% of your golf ball's direction comes from the club face angle at impact? And it's your wrists that control that angle. If you want to hit straighter shots and add more distance to your game, then check out the link in the description below. The second drill you can try, grab a club. You can do this with and without a ball. I'd encourage you to try it without a ball just to begin with. This is a little bit of an extension of the foot together or the feet together drill that I tried earlier. You could try the feet together drill as a starting point, but then actually to start to really create some good speed here, you'd want to start to include the feet into this exercise. Now, a great drill for this would be the step drill, where you step back as you make a backswing, step forward as you land at the top of your backswing, and then hit the ball. As I mentioned, it's worth trying this a few times without the golf ball to begin with. It can be quite daunting to try and hit the ball at the same time whilst coordinating this motion. But what you would do is you would start, I like to start with the golf club just out in front of me here, so it's already into a small follow-through position. So you start the club here. If your feet are together, which they can be, you would begin the swing by moving the club back and the right foot back at the same time. So you land this right foot on the ground as you begin the swing. There's almost that little trigger there to start the swing. So club goes forward, foot drops back, club goes forward, foot drops back. You'd complete the backswing, and as you're completing the backswing, you would land the left foot forward. This is great at helping you to get the correct sense of the pelvis and the weight being far enough forward in that early downswing, which then allows the appropriate wrist angles to follow. So many of the poor wrist angles in the downswing and all the problems you see at impact are a result of poor sequencing, and that starts with poor body motion. So this is really training the combination of loading the arms along with the transition of the body, which we want to see. So without the ball, it would look like this. Start with the feet together, club goes forward, right foot drops back, reach the top, plant the left foot and follow through. I'll do that without talking this time. Just trying to get the sequence of that. Land the foot. And that landing of the left foot and getting the weight forward really helps with getting the speed into the ball. I can land, get everything forward, and then I can brake my body and brace it at the appropriate time to get the wrist angles out to hit the shot. Once you've done that a few times, and if you're feeling a bit brave, you want to give that a go, you can do that with the ball, so the club goes forward, back, decent contact. You'll find it a little tricky and challenging to begin with potentially, but it's a great skill, it's a great drill for training the skill of hand-eye coordination. Decent contact, reasonable distance, and nice one if you struggle with the sequencing of your body. So learning to coordinate body and arms, that's a great one. The step drill is a step up from the feet together drill. And then the final drill that I really love when it comes to adding more speed and getting a sense of the correct sequence in the downswing and through impact is my version of the hit hard, stop quick drill with an additional piece in the follow through that you maybe haven't seen before. So first of all, hit hard, stop quick. Hit hard, stop quick, as the name suggests. You're going to set up to the ball, you're going to swing, you're going to try and hit hard, and you're going to try and stop very quickly in the follow through. I let that swing go a little further than I probably wanted to. That's somewhere up near my normal speed, normal distance. Okay, let's try that again. Hit hard, stop quick. How quickly can I stop this swing? That's a little better. Slowing down or having the sense of braking very quickly in the follow through trains your body instinctively to start to absorb the forces of the swing, and as your body braces and takes on those forces, it allows the energy to go out to the club. The wrists release, and hopefully in the right place. You'll see there on the HackMotion data how I've got the wrist once again in much more flexion at impact than I had it at setup. But as I hit the ball, this wrist is really extending and the club's being thrown. 80 miles per hour, 147 yards. So I'm going to do one more of those before I show you the extra piece to this drill that you maybe haven't seen before. So one more time, hit hard, stop quick, controlling the finish, absorbing the forces. There's a real effort, it's worth mentioning at this point, there's a very strong intent, and it's quite effortful on my part to stop that swing. It's not easy to do. Many of you will find this very difficult. If you've not tried this before, you won't be able to stop the swing. That one wasn't my best. I'm going to do one more just to show you what this should look like. Stop as soon as you can after impact, braking and bracing the energy. Full back swing, hit the ball, stop. That was a little bit better with the strike. Let's see what the speeds look like there. Okay, I'm hovering just below what I would say would be my normal speed, but it's helping me to develop some good structure. I'm getting a real sense of getting that club head speed out to the ball. What's the additional piece here? Well, you'd actually go ahead and hit as hard as you can, stop as quickly as you can, and then pull the club head back as fast as you can. The recoil, the intent to pull the club back, really gives you a sense of how you can stop, slow down the hands, speed up the club, and pull it back. You'd be surprised how much you can get out of this with some practice. So we're doing the swish drill and pulling the club back. Hit hard, stop quick. Recoil is how I would describe it. Hit hard, stop quick. Pull the club back. For such a short swing, or at least such a short follow through, you might be surprised to see that club head speed there, that number up at 82 miles per hour. If you remember, that's pretty much on par with my stock standard swing. Now, if I can train this exercise, which, as I say, is very intentful, it's also effortful. I'm trying quite hard. There's a lot of energy that I'm having to put into this, and I'm physically having to absorb a lot of force here in the swing. So these swings are more effortful than a regular swing would be. But if I trained this way with a very strong purpose to try and keep increasing that clubhead speed via this short stopping finish, I would be learning that sequence, that word I mentioned earlier, that sequence in the downswing that would help me to get the sort of numbers on HackMotion that I'm looking for, and ultimately help me to deliver more speed out to the ball. I would say that's the number one reason most of you struggle with distance. It isn't really a clubhead speed issue. It's a lack of knowing how to get the energy that you have made in your swing out to the golf ball. There's very few of you who are making that motion efficient and getting the most out of it. So this is the drill that I would definitely recommend, and as I said earlier, you can do this with any club. This is just a mid-iron, but we can definitely do one of these with the driver as well and try and get the same sort of results. So swing fast, stop quick, recoil. Not so easy to do. I lost that one a little bit. Didn't quite manage the forces through the ball there. Speed was still there, contact wasn't great. So you're going to see sometimes the distance drop, not because I swung slower, but because I didn't quite get the strike. And of course, you're going to need to balance the quality of strike with the way that you're doing this over time. The developing skill that you're working on requires time. You won't always hit these out the middle, but when you do, you'll see the ball fly as high, if not higher, as straight, and certainly as far, if not further, than you're currently doing with what you consider to be your full swing. I'm going to try and get one of these right out the middle. Stop quick, recoil. Not quite centered, so the strike wasn't there again. I'm going to give this one more, and then I'm going to encourage you to get out there. But very straight, very high, 81 miles per hour. I'm not far off my full speed swing, but I know I can do better than this, so we're going to just give this one more. Hit hard, stop quick, recoil. That's the feeling I want you to have. As your body braces through impact, this club is going to get thrown correctly. But as you can see, once again, using the HackMotion data, I'm conforming to all of the right numbers at the right point in time. And these drills are designed to help you change your current pattern or your current sequence, which most likely, if you're not seeing the distance results you want to, these sequences are going to be out of whack. So there's a few things for you to try. Stick drill, make it swoosh, create as much noise as you can. That's going to start to at least get in the basic concept of more speed. Then try the feet together drill, both with practice swings and hitting the ball, and progress from there to the step drill, which helps you to incorporate the weight shift as well as the wrist motions. And then finish off with hit hard, stop quick. The basic version of hit hard, stop quick really just has the goal for stopping as soon as they can after impact. The recoil that I added today is really a more advanced version. So once again, there's a couple of versions of hit hard, stop quick there that you can work through. All of these ideas are designed to help you increase your clubhead speed, improve your wrist angles through impact, and help you hit the ball better than ever before. You can certainly try this with the driver as well, which is of course the club that you probably want to add the most distance with. I hope you found the video useful. If you're looking to train your wrists further, click the link in the description of this video where it will take you to more HackMotion wrist training videos on YouTube.